We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Cliffjumper, what are you doing? I've got dead center in my viewfinder.
When you saw the defendants, were you wearing your glasses?
I want all of you boys to be able to look me straight in the eye one more time and say, are we having fun or what?
By taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Cage Talks, where we converse one-on-one with a different creator every time, asking questions to get to know them better. And today we will be joined in the cage by our special guest. We got Adega Outlaw.
I'm still laughing at what Stig posted.
We'll get to him in a second. So how you doing, Doc?
I'm all right. How are you doing? How you doing? I can't do it. I don't have the accent.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Just plugging along. Wondering why the heck you brought me here, and is it going to hurt?
It may. I have been known to nibble on occasion. It is not my fault. It's just the way of my people. It's not like opening a refrigerator door. You're asking for trouble. Before we get started, let's go ahead and say hi to the awesome people that are already hanging in the chat. Guys, remember, if you are here, be sure to share out the links out there. I know many of you already did on Twitter since yesterday when I first started promoting this thing. And thank you so much. Remember to let everybody know we're here because YouTube likes to suppress me. I am the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. But what's going on? Chaos Away, of course, the first one in the house was going on. Chaos. Chaos, as always, asking how I'm doing, asking how the pigs are doing, and how is Cliffjumper. And Cliffjumper is getting better. Cliffjumper is on the mend, and he is moving around, and he was being a butt and stealing carrots from Helmet. So that is a good sign. Maybe not so good for Helmet, but good for Jumper that he's healing. Papa Cotton in the house. Now that Papa has been fully restored as a wrench here on my channel, no thanks to YouTube and her bullshit. Papa is in the house hanging with us. Trina from Real Horror also hanging out in the chat. What's going on, Trina? I hope that you were doing well today. Stig, the man from the north. Hello, Tommy and Adega, you bastards. Trina smacked me with a shoe and demanded $20 after the fact. Well, it could have been worse, Steve. Could have been $20 and reach around. But not for her. Anyway, Monotony, what's going on, man? Cageaholic, Razor Paw. Whoa. That escalated quickly. What's going on, Tony? It's good to see you. I retweeted it this time, you bastard. I appreciate that. Curtis, also when the house was on. Curtis YZ, my man, already pimping people's channels out. Guys, remember, if you got a wrench, go ahead and pimp out your channel. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody should be able to promote themselves on my streams. And if you're not, you're doing something wrong, damn it. Have a lot of fun. We are here to have fun. And speaking of having fun, let's get into the questions with our man, Adega Outlaw. And here we go with our first bumper for our first question.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
So the first one is the easiest question, Doc, and it's a simple one. When did you first make your channel?
Easy one. I don't remember. It's been years. Gosh, 2011 maybe. I made it originally, and some of the videos are still up. I played that Old Republic, the online one, Star Wars, and there's certain side quests instead of doing the main quest. They had some space things where you go on. It's basically a shooter on rails, and I was able to do all the various difficulties without any problem. And so many people were complaining. I said, "Oh, you guys don't know what you're doing." So they convinced me, and So I made a few videos, how-to videos to do those space missions, and I never took them down. And then I just walked away for it for a while, and then came back when I started writing. So it's been there a while.
And I know a lot of people always talk about, like Adam and I, like the first Cage Talks I ever did, Adam and I talked about like when we first started channels. And I know like a lot of people, you always hear this story, everybody started out as a chat rat, or that was JJ's favorite saying, heck, everybody was a chat rat. And that one of the things I did early on is I didn't even really chat that much. I just kind of just watched, just see what people were saying. If somebody said something profound enough or idiotic enough, I might actually put something in the chat. For the longest time, I didn't really chat a whole lot with people because I was just trying to get the lay of the landscape. You know what I mean? Trying to get to understand how certain people were and if I should even bother to engage with them. And sometimes in hindsight, you kind of wish you didn't.
Nah, stand up for what you did. All the times you were rude to people. That's a beautiful thing. They deserve it.
I didn't mean to be. It wasn't my fault. What's going on, Slasher? Good to see you, man. Steek says reach around only works if she also combines it with a chloroform rag. Woof. Answer the question. Thank you, Curtis. I appreciate that, man. We're going to get into the second question. It kind of bumpers off the first one.
Why so serious?
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now, everybody has an explanation and some people don't. But why? Why did you make your channel? Now, you kind of led into a little bit with the Old Republic. Yeah. Was that the only reason?
Pretty much, yeah. And the only reason why I do it now is because one, I have fun with it, but I use it as and a lot of you know, I listen to what I've written and I record it after recording it and thinking about it, making a video for it and watching it. Cause I watch all of my videos at least once. And then I check rhythm, wording, various different things. And if things don't fit vocally as well as, reading it, then I go back and correct stuff that's been written down in the books that I do. So yeah, that's why originally it was to help other people learn how to play a game, and now it's to help me write.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, you hit it right on the head too. And I don't know how many times I've told other people that when they get started and, they maybe they have these expectations. I mean, like, yeah, the first expectation you have is that you're going to be having fun on here. And I always say, if it ever got to the point where I wasn't having no fun at all, and between the internet company and YouTube and their games, they've gotten me really close a couple times just saying this is not fun anymore. And, for me, it's the awesome people that stop by and they leave comments on the videos, or the people that are hanging out in the chat and some of the absolute hilarious shit they say, like Steve right here. I engaged with Tommy. Big mistake. Can't get rid of the bastard now.
Well, there was also for a time when I was working with a publisher that part of the requirements was that I actually do some type of interaction with social media. And so I went from doing 1 or 2 a week. I did a little bit more. I did there's not very many of just little short story things that I did, or when I actually would do editing of my own stuff, I would do a video of how I edited previous things that I did. But now I don't do that so much anymore. I may do an editing one once in a blue moon, but that was another reason why I was under contract. So.
Well, I do got to say, Doc, one of the things I do love about what you're doing, especially with your stories that you're working on, I mean, I think it's a wonderful gateway into the worlds that you're creating. It's giving people a taste without, I know some people get really skeptical whether or not they want to jump feet first into a novel or a series of novels, especially if they don't know the artist and what their writing style is like, what the story is going to be like. And what you're doing with your readings on your channel, I think are absolutely perfect for people if they want to test the waters and see if they're going to like it or not. And you know what? I didn't need it. I took your word on it because I had enough discussions with you and on channels and in private green rooms after the shows that, I trusted you when you say, hey, you're going to like this. And I jumped in both feet, especially the evolution. I know I still haven't had a chance to go freaking get the Blood Witch yet, but I mean, everything has just been so just messed up with this economy. I am going to get it eventually. So Hopefully maybe in the next couple months, and I can finally catch up on that one. But like that Evolution series, I absolutely loved it. And I know you said you're working on another chapter on that. We'll leave some of that towards the end when you have open discussions where you can get more people more interested in your work. But let's get back on. What's that? I'm done uploading anything to YouTube. Got to go to Twitter for my crap. Yeah, I know, Papa. They playing games with you nonstop. I mean, shit. Look what it took just to make you a freaking mod on my channel again. Absolutely ridiculous. YouTube censoring is the worst. Yeah, and it's only going to get worse until after freaking election day. They do this shit every single fucking time.
Yep.
They can't help themselves. But let's get on to our third question.
Now I'm really angry. This is fucking war.
So, what are the drawbacks to online sites for you? What aggravates you? What makes you angry?
Oh, it's going to hit the same thing everybody else does. It's the hypocrisy. I get along with people. I don't care, what their background is, most of their views, unless they're just idiotic views. I'll get along with you. You could be a stupid moron and I'll still get along with you. But when you're a two-faced hypocrite, that's what makes me angry. And you see it all over the place. People who use that simply to get views, money, friends, what have you, while other people suffer because of that. I'm not a big fan of that. Just ridiculous to me.
And it hurts more, of course, like you're saying, it hurts a lot more than just the person that's doing it, because it hurts every other person on these platforms, because then people see that and then they start getting skeptical of other people. Like, I don't even know if I want to watch this person. How do I know he's not another fraud? And it just creates a big circle of distrust.
Yep. Guilt by association. Well, this guy follows this guy, so they must be as bad as the other guy. Or, this person espouses this, so everyone in their circle must be espousing that as well. It's just, I judge people on an individual basis, not on a group basis. I judge by what they do and not by what they claim they do. And that's, but I don't have to be online to see that. You see it all over the place. I could tell you stories of when I was a doc. Oh my word. But if there's anything that aggravates me on here, it's just, and it always leads to the drama. It leads to click groups, and we're not even face to face, and they're making click groups out of this. It's the bad side of humanity. We are a herd species, and yet we're isolating, aggravating, throwing aspersions, when it actually reveals the person who's doing that for what they are, the hypocrite. And I just don't like it.
I know I get fed up with some people, and I may say something here and there, but for the most part, I've told the same people that have agitated me over and over again, just leave me the hell alone. There won't be nothing said. Just leave me the hell alone. But unfortunately, some people just can't do that. And then you have the continuation of the nonsense, which just tends to further aggravate everybody that's in everybody's circles. Yep. And then the next thing you know, you start getting that tribal mentality, unfortunately, because this shit happens. Look, there's a lot of people that I deal with that actually still associate with people that I don't like. I don't hold it against them. Like, hey man, that's you. What did some of the girls say? You do you, boo.
Right.
Hey, that's totally on you, man. You want to deal with that person, you can go ahead and deal with that person. The best I can tell you is that I have had a not so good experience with certain individuals, and I will let you know. I will be upfront about it, and then you can do with that information whatever you please. Just don't bring their shit to me, and I won't send anything to you about it. So just leave it at that. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't do that. They just can't.
Right. And I think one of the other sad things about it too is if there's something going on like that, and this equally drives me nuts, is people will do everything in their power to avoid responsibility, whether apologies, correction of the wrongs that they did, admitting that they did something wrong. That drives me nuts too, because they're just digging themselves into a deeper hole. There's a reason why they say that. They're instead of climbing out and correcting things, they just make it that much worse and start burning bridges, and it ends in sorrow all the way around.
We got to be careful. Burning bridges might be too soon.
Oh, geez, yeah, yeah.
What's going on, Manliness and Motivation? What's up, man? C.S. Lewis talked about learning the difference between liking and agreeing with somebody. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I like that I don't necessarily always agree with, and you know what, Vinny and I, there's quite a few things Vinny and I just do not agree on. It's just the way it is. He doesn't hold it against me, other than he thinks that I'm a prick sometimes, especially when I tell
Oh,
him
we
and
all
Trina
know that.
about Bologna. They don't like that word.
Bologna.
Bologna.
Fried Bologna.
What's up, Bad Take Bojan? Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you. Big cities full of victim mentality, people ruining this whole country. Hey, you're not lying. How can we sleep when the bridges are burning? Oh, Jesus. I think we should move into the next topic.
Right.
What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny.
Did you have any expectations or goals when you were creating your channel?
Nope. Still don't. I really don't. I don't have any expectations, no goals. You know, you see people that stress over that stuff, and for me, it's just fun. And if I put expectations on it, then I'm setting myself up for either something unrealistic or failure or stress. Even if it's successful, it will add stress. It's there and it's there. So for YouTube, any of those, no expectations. But I did have something weird, and I got to run it by you. I don't know. Now, this is going to sound weird because I really don't. I really don't have ever considered numbers or views or anything that important, but I did notice something a couple weeks ago, and I'll run this by you because you know that, and I asked Loki about it too. He thinks it was a push, and I don't know why or how that would work, because in a couple of days it was just 2 days, I think, I gained over 20 new subs, and one of my views got, and it's just an average, it wasn't really anything exciting. It's still going pretty good for my small channel. It's got over 1,000 views on it, and I don't know why. I don't know if there was because I see some of these people and they're not in any way related to any of the circles that were around, but I'm not sure if it's like some MSR group, MSMR, whatever those things are, group that likes the sound of my voice or what, but maybe you could figure it out, because I go back and I look at all the other ones and they're not necessarily following the story because they're not starting at the beginning to catch up. I don't know what the heck happened.
Well, here's the first question I ask you. Did you post at the same time that you normally post all the other videos?
Yeah, nothing changed.
Okay. Same day and everything.
Oh yeah, same day, same time.
Then it probably was just a lucky breakthrough through the algorithm, because I've had quite a few videos that actually broke through the algorithm and did really well, and then follow-up videos that were similar, whether it was a toy or whether it was BattleBots or whether it was a guinea pig video, would do unexceptionally poor. There is no 100% rhyme or reason to the algorithm of YouTube. Sometimes it's just random. One video will break through, and that's
weird.
The funny thing is, though, because if it legitimately just got found and everybody thought it was really that great, more than likely it would be coming back. But you don't see a whole lot of that. Like you might see it in small spurts, but then you won't see it again. One of the things that I always check is when I put a video up, and YouTube likes to play this game with me a lot. So you got a 4.5 hour window, 4.5 to 5.5 hour window for your video to catch in the algorithm. And I forget how many thousands of views your video has to do to make itself relevant in the algorithm. But you have that 4.5 to 5.5 hour window to make it happen. I've put up videos, and the minute I put them up, it would say first 4.5 hours, meaning it automatically got buried in the algorithm from the moment I posted it. And then I've had other ones where I don't see that, and sometimes those are the ones that actually do exceptionally well compared to all the other videos I put up. But once again, there was no rhyme or reason. I put videos up where I had them all up at the exact same time, every single day, and it made no difference whatsoever. And I've talked to other creators where they swore up and down doing it at the same time every day it would make a huge difference in the algorithm, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It may work for a short period of time, but over a long haul, the algorithm will change to what you're doing for no reason whatsoever. So, I mean, I think you just happen to catch a lucky break in the algorithm window when nobody else had anything going up that day for whatever reason, and you just caught it at the right time.
Like I said, it doesn't mean anything to me here or there. It was just very confusing. But I do know, and this is why I thought might have been a sound thing, because there's been I've heard a few people say that they use my voice to go to sleep with. And I was like, oh, great, but I don't know. I'll take your word for it, because like I said, I don't know. It's just odd.
Yeah, I wish I could say it was something more profound than that, but like all the time that I've been doing it, and we everybody that knows me, I know you know it too. For the longest time, YouTube kept me suppressed, and they kept me under 500 subs, and I could not figure out a way to get past that freaking algorithm block until I just wound up they came up with the shorts, and I just absolutely plastered shorts all over YouTube until I broke through the algorithm. And once I broke through the algorithm, I seen this like pretty quick rise in subs and views and everything for quite some time. And I was making sure to do the videos the exact same time every single day. Sometimes I would put up a few more videos than I put up the day before, but I was keeping it fairly consistent. And it was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, just like a faucet, it just shut off for no reason whatsoever. Views went way down, subs started going down. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, one of my videos caught the algorithm again, and I caught a little bit of a boost for maybe a week or two, and then it died down again. And I've been playing that game of up and down with this thing ever since.
No. That's YouTube. So, no, expectations, nothing.
Now, I know a lot of people talk about grinding it and stuff like that, and you get other people that are a complete opposite of the spectrum, and they're kind of like how you are and how I am. You just want to have fun. I mean, I've heard, as a matter of fact, I heard Loki maybe just a couple weeks ago talking about that. What a pleasure it is to sit there and live stream it. Like I told him, I would say it's a pleasure too if I can get my internet to work.
No, and that really is his thing. It's early on when he first started, we would talk afterwards, and he considered it almost like church therapy. I nicknamed it for a little while Loki's church, because that's where he went, and it was fun for him amidst all the stresses that he was going through at the time. It was just a therapy. So, yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I know I brought this up ever so quickly earlier. What's going on, Soul Assassin? Points integration light at Adega. Is it true you can summon Cthulhu?
I won't deny it, but I won't confirm it either.
We have you on the hook for when the Guinea horde is close to the capital. I finally found a decent niche on YouTube besides cat videos. It's making fun of dumb ads. Hey man, as long as it makes you happy, that's all that matters. Take my anger out in Big Corpo with dumb cheap ads. Yeah, ridiculous. Guinea pig ASMR. What? Squeak, squeak, squeak. Give me your toy, squeak. You son of a bitch. It's always a short period of time. Yeah, I don't want to discourage anyone. I got haters that will flag anything I do. And yeah, I know. We all have a few haters out there. And no matter how well liked you think you are, there's somebody out there that can't stand you.
That's the thing. Honesty will always bring haters. Always.
Every single time. And whether or not you like it or not, they will try to find a way to try to twist your words too.
Yep.
Grinder. What's going on? And for lesbians, scissor. Scissor. Oh Jesus, Trina. I don't know what to do with you. But we got one more one more question in here, and then we'll move into our last segment. So here
All
we
right.
go.
What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna?
So, what can those watching expect to see next from Adega Outlaw?
I think I'm gonna, for the time being, I'm keeping with the regular program. I'll release a chapter a week of my current works. Every once in a while, when I'm feeling good enough, I'll release 2, but it will be from a different one, because those of you who followed my stuff know that I'm actually working on 3 projects simultaneously, and there's other writers around who just I've ran into a few of them. Not most of them aren't like that, but there's a few of them that are really pissed because I have everything in my head and I don't have to do outlines and it just comes out, and to work on multiple books at the same time, it's frustrating to them. But then again, an awful lot of the ones that are frustrated with it are the ones who aren't very good at it. But so I have, in order to finish everything I wanted to do, basically 2 books. The one that's in the works with the Blood Witch, and another one with the Blood Witch. There is also the Last Evolution book, and you haven't seen this one. I'm still up in the air whether or not I want to release the whole thing. I might do it. So I'm leaning more and more to I should. It's heavy on the message stuff. It's not the message, the woke message, but more of the message of spirituality, be a good human type thing. It has less to do with, most of my stuff are, they have life lessons in it that I've learned, and it's all based on people that I've met and their life stories, and I put them into another story. Their personalities, all the personalities in the stories are real. So anyone who could tell me that this isn't how people could work, they're full of crap. I had some editors that were doing that. They were just morons. You guys heard me talk about them before. You could tell they were recent college graduates who were so full of themselves, thinking they knew the world, and they didn't know their head from a hole in the ground. And when I wrote about real people, they assumed that it was wrong. And I really despised not them as a person, but their lack of understanding of what it means to be human. So I'm getting on a tangent, but that kind of slowed me down for a little bit because I was very, very frustrated. But I'm back as the past few years. Just, you know what? This is what these people have told me who they are, and they are going to be represented maybe in a sci-fi setting or a fantasy setting. But this is the way people really do act, and the heroics are real. And the dread for humanity, in some instances, there's been a couple of them, is actually real as well. I've seen it. I've been around people like that. I've seen death, despair, happiness, all of that. So no, I won't change the stories for anybody.
Awesome. Everything that you're doing has been amazing. So the new one, I think, was that supposed to, if I remember correctly, was that supposed to be Echoes of Noor?
No, that is complete. That one was always going to come out. The new one is Doorways of Noor, and it has to deal with. I could give you spoilers.
No, don't spoil it.
You read the first 4, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it won't be any spoilers, but I could tell you what the main gist of it is. Edric and Stacy have kids, and I deliberately made the superhuman disappear. He pops up here and there. You notice that I didn't center the story around probably the most powerful creature in the universe. It's not around Edric at all. It's around other people. but he pops up here and there, little influences here and there. But him and Stacy have kids, and one of the kids doesn't live up to the standards of the Nor. He is arrogant and self-centered, and they kick him out. And it's his journey. That's Doorways of Nor. And again, that's the one that I think has it means a lot to me, and I don't know if I probably will let it out, but that's the Echoes of Nor. I'm still waiting on Paige. She's my artist. It should have been out a couple weeks ago, and I don't like bugging her because she won't take a dime from me. I try and pay her, and she does all this just because she likes my stuff. And all she needs to do, because she has access to all my stuff with Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and she just needs to format it and load it up, and then it would be out, because it's all done. It's just a matter of me getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, come on, Paige, you said you're going to do it last weekend." And she's young, she gets distracted with things. So, but like I said, I don't pay her, so I feel guilty about bugging her about it. She says, "Oh, you can bug me anytime," but it's still. But Echoes of Nor is the one that you know of. That's the one that has Vinny's artwork in the back of it. It's already there. But no, Doorways is something entirely different. That's the one where I think I have 15 chapters that I read on YouTube. You can still get to those. You can kind of get the story, a little bit of what's going on there. Get your books on Goodreads if you haven't. Might help a little with getting them noticed. I have a author's blog there. There's been a couple people that have made a couple posts on that, but I haven't messed. I don't do a lot of self-promoting, and that's probably bad of me. I do a few things here and there. Every once in a while, I'll make a commercial. I talk to people about stuff. I know my stuff is really good. I've had some really sophisticated readers and influential people go through it, and they said, "Yeah, this is," and like the reach, this. You can't get a hold of that anymore, but I did make that commercial the other day, and I really did have several people that said this is one of the best stories they've ever heard. That one, we're working on the cover. Got to get some editing. Hopefully within 6 months, that one will be available, which means it'll probably be a year. But doing stuff with Goodreads, part of the thing is I don't know where to start other than just, I get on there and I do my updated blog, well, I got this available, and I guess I monkey with it about every 4 or 5 months, maybe sometimes later than that. But
even without like going like in depth with going on Goodreads and like posting updated blogs and everything like that, you've done well enough for yourself that you even just recently got shelf space in the Barnes and Noble stores.
Right. Yeah, no, and like I said, because I know the stories are good. I don't have a problem with that. I've had a couple of criticisms. Someone said, "Well, yeah, you should read this review," and I can't remember where the review was. So I went and read it, and the guy spent like 3 or 4 massive paragraphs ripping into evolution, and I thought, because he gave it a 1. So I started reading it, and the whole thing was his Christian point of view. He thought the book was about evolution of animals and the world, and that there wasn't a creator, and that wasn't it at all. So he didn't read the book. He just saw the word evolution, decided to rip on it, and gave me a 1 star. And I thought, oh, that's pretty funny. So you know what? Maybe one of these days I might actually do that. When everything's done, maybe I start, instead of writing all the time like I do now, I'll spend the time promoting. Maybe. No.
It couldn't hurt, and every time I've talked to people about like any kind of stuff like this, I always mention your name, always mention Vinny, always mention Chris. I mean, even Red Gaze, with the stuff that
Yeah,
he's done with
yeah,
Sunscorn, I really like that. Kai MFS with
yeah.
Space Crime Domino. That was another one. I thought that was really well written. I mean, it's like anything, you're getting into a new genre, and if you don't know the creators, you either get to know them or you just take a leap of faith. Or, of course, word of mouth, talking to people that know about these things. And anytime that I can give somebody like any kind of information on any of the work that all you guys are doing, I always tell them, look, you want to start off and look into this or look into this. I think you'd really like that. And I always try to do that as well. I mean, and that's another thing when you're talking about, it's not always self-promotion. It's getting other people to kind of word of mouth promote you too. And that it does help. I mean, maybe it doesn't help as much as it should, because it ain't like the old days where everything relied on word of mouth. But I mean, still, like anytime you guys are out there in the chat and you know somebody's work and it's good, always be sure to mention it. It's taking 2 or 3 seconds out of your time, but it could be immensely helping that creator who wants more people to be able to experience their work.
Right.
And I would never stop saying that your book, especially the Evolution series, which I went all the way through so far, holy shit, amazing series, amazing. Like the first one I read like 6 times before I was able to get the second book in my hand. So I went over
You still
it
think
over
that
and over.
one's your favorite out of the ones that you've read, right?
Yeah. I love the way that one just flows through. Like I enjoyed the shit out of it. Honestly.
The majority of the people like the prologue book. I call it a prologue. It's not, some people call it a prequel, but it's basically a prologue.
That was one I could only get in paperback, the directive one.
Right. It's you can get it hardback at Barnes and Noble, but again, like you said, it's the hardback is going to be $20. But I've had a few people. It's interesting because Revolution, I don't see anyone having. Well, actually, I take that back. Someone did because of the way the characters act in Revolution, because it's kind of like the bridge to the conclusion. But then I have other people that are fans of Echoes of Nor, the one that's going to be released. That one's set 50 years after the events that end with Revolution, and.
Or is that Resolution?
Pardon?
Isn't that Resolution?
Yeah, after Resolution. Yeah, it's 50 years after Resolution. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. But
I was paying attention, Doc. I was paying attention. I paid attention to your books. I remember what order. I remember Evolution, Revolution, and Resolution.
For those of you who haven't read, basically think of, and when I set this out, it was a quasi, if you're religious, it'll make sense. If you're not religious, it will kind of make sense. And it has to deal with conspiracies and some of those things that we know nowadays, where there are a lot of evidence, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's true or not, I'm not to judge. But I just went by a lot of these theories that there has already been a breakaway civilization of humans. Back at the time of World War II, when very sophisticated, evil people had developed technologies, and the prologue to Evolution, Children of the Directive, is basically, it takes that hundreds of years later, what that breakaway civilization would have been like, and what they run into, and the problems that they cause when they get out there. And then that's when Evolution starts. They had a problem that they made, and they need help from the humans back in the regular set of universe. They're not as technically advanced, so they have to kind of clandestinely do things, and they make tremendous mistakes. And then Evolution goes through how the rest of humanity deals with these problems. And then Echoes of Nor is basically, at the conclusion of it, they go back and decide to investigate ancient, millions of years old mysteries to try and prevent things from happening again. And you get into some of the very ancient civilizations, new people, different things. That was something that I had heard from authors. I think even you guys, some of you know that I'm friends with Joe Malazzi. and he had mentioned it, and I think it was some of the writers. I talked with. Oh gosh, he used to write some of the Star Wars novels. I can't remember his name now. But one of the things that they had always, almost universally, if you're going to write books that continue on in a series or the same universe, each one should have something new. You know, either a new character, new technology, or different technology, stuff that was adjacent to, but you didn't explore before, and to widen out the universe each time. Um, no, no. I can't remember his name. No, you guys would know him. He lives in Arizona. He's quite frail. His wife is very sick.
I mean, there's so many people that did all those damn novels.
Right. No, you guys would know who he was. It's just the way my mind works sometimes. Just with the cancer and the pain, I got some memory issues, and that's why I told you need to keep giving me reminders to make sure I show up on time, because I'll forget to put my shoes on and walk out in the snow. I've done that quite a few times. No, I can't. Gosh, an A keeps popping into my head, but I don't know. Either way, they all say, when you're going to write something new, you add to it. Don't just, go through the same rigmarole. No, it's not Steve Perry. And so that's each one. You probably noticed that in the books. Each time I either developed something in the universe more in depthly, added new technology, or a new species. And there's a ton of that in Echoes of Nor.
Well, I think that was one of the things you did really well throughout the original series of Evolution, including the Children of the Directive prologue, because everything had something in there familiar. I mean, and number one, anytime you're writing any kind of long series of books or any kind of long series of stories that are supposed to bind together in some way, there should be an element of familiarity. And then, of course, like you're saying, there should be something that's just a little bit different, because otherwise you're just rehashing the same story in a different way. So there's always got to be something that's just a little bit different about every single one. Now, whether it's, like you say, new technology, new people, new set of circumstances that people find themselves in that they weren't in before, all those things add to the mystery element. But they also work well with the familiarity that people have of those certain characters, or maybe certain situations that they may find themselves in that are kind of similar while having a new spin to it. People have done that forever, and they've done it really well. And then other people can't seem to figure out how to do that at all. And I've seen that with a few of the Star Wars novels when I used to read them. A lot of them are done really well, but you get some of those writers, they don't know how to add on to what somebody else has created, and it feels like they've just rehashed the same story. And I haven't seen that with anything that you've done. And real quick, say hi to Time Prophet. What's going on, Time Prophet?
Hey,
they give you a proper welcome. And what's going on, Lurch Troll? What's up, man? I hope you're doing well. I know Time Prophet said that he did get your book, but he hasn't had time to read it. And
no, that's fine. He's working on his own stuff. Pretty cool stuff, if you ask me.
Matter of fact, Curtis said the same thing. Haven't read it yet either. I know a lot of guys get busy.
Okay. I appreciate the support.
What I need to do is I need to put a tutorial video out there on how to speed read with the Guinea Pig Collective. And yeah, Soul Assassin, the Guinea Pig does read. I seen that earlier. He's son of a bitch.
He's been educated.
And you're damn right. Everybody knows that it was the guinea pigs who created humans. Guinea-topia. That's who built the pyramids. You're damn right. And those who didn't work, they got their toes nibbled. What's up, Vinny? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing well.
His ears must have been itching because we were trash talking him in the background.
I know, right? Take that, Vinny. You're late showing up to get trash talk. How does that feel? Kurt, it's good to have pride in your work. You're damn right it is. If you don't have pride in your work, who's going to do it for you?
Right.
But we're going to head into the last segment here, and we technically already started it, but this is the official intro. Now, this is anything else that you want to add so people stop by and see you, why they should come by and see you, and why they should absolutely buy your phenomenal books. People, if you haven't bought one yet, why haven't you? Stop procrastinating. Nobody likes procrastinators, but here we go with our bumper for it.
Fast man. Let me tell you my story, man.
Just the facts.
You got a name. What do they call you?
Jughead.
Jughead. My mother's name is Jughead.
This is all about you, Doc, and this is all about your channel. Is there anything else that you want to tell the fine people out there? And of course, this is open talk, so anything more that you want to extrapolate on your series, any more information you want to give people to try to get them to become invested in your series of books and your incredible stories and locations that when you read into these things, you can legitimately see it. And I always love that about certain novelists when they create worlds, when you read it and you could picture it in your mind's eye, that is when you know you have a captivating tale. And I really do. And I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because I'm not going to do it. That's how I felt with the Evolution series. And that was why I was so stressed out about getting every single book looking at exactly the same. Because I enjoyed that series so much. I wanted all the books to line up perfectly because I wanted to see them all next to each other because it was such a great series. See, the dog agrees too. It was a great series. Why hasn't anybody else bought it yet? People,
Dang,
hurry
dog,
up.
sorry.
It happens. I get the guinea pigs yelling at me from time to time too, so it's no worries. But go ahead, Doc. I'm going to shut my mouth and you take it away.
I don't know. It's probably better you talk than hear my dog is neurotic. That dog, it barks at everything. It's such a nice dog, but it just won't shut up sometimes. My wife, she loves it. It's her dog, and it's the dog. Her favorite person is my wife, but she had to go to the vet and say, you know what, this thing is so high strung. So it does have little pills that we can give it every once in a while to kind of, mellow the edge, but it doesn't work. She's
you know what's really good for dogs?
Beating?
No, actually, I know you automatically go there with me. Thanks, Doc. No, it's nibbling off their toes. Now, baby Benadryl.
Yeah, but she's not that big of a dog, and I think a baby Benadryl will have her sleep until next Tuesday.
Well, think about all the quiet time.
Right. No, she's okay. We'll never be surprised in this house with anything, that's for sure. Let me see. I have read fantasy, and not a lot. I'm limited on the fantasy end. I have read sci-fi. I've read old classical works. My favorite of the old stuff was Charles Dickens. And anything nowadays is seriously lacking, with everything being corrupted with reboots, with stories being written upon stories that tarnish what was before. This is something that's untouched. And again, you were part of the commercial. Vinny was part of the commercial. You had several other people. Even Joe contributed to it. If you guys don't know who Joe Malazzi is, he has done more sci-fi television than anyone else on the planet. He is the one who did Stargate, started with season 4 Stargate SG-1, did Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Universe, Utopia Falls, Dark Matter. He's phenomenal, and he says my stuff is good, and he will tell you he's like you. He's not going to tell anyone a lie. You either listen to his advice or he won't give you advice at all. And so I've had a lot of people say that my stuff is really, really good. And I'm going to beat that dog, not literally, but
I'm
There's
just saying
also times,
maybe some CBD oil.
right, that one was thought of too.
They,
There were
just off topic real quick. They do make CBD oil for dogs and
yes,
small pets
we
and
know, we've been there. We haven't used it, but yeah, we've heard.
And what's up, Glenzer?
Now I completely forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah. No, Joe's great. But the thing is, with so much, you find a lot of, and I think this is why there's a growing apathy towards certain media, and there's a lot of writers who are just dumb, is because they haven't read good stuff. They don't know how. It's limited their intelligence. And reading something that actually will make you focus, understand human language, gosh, that dang dog. Give me just a sec. Say something. I really gotta.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. One of the things is, hopefully Doc maybe hears this in the background, but I think one of the problems with a lot of these newer creators is they don't have the imagination. And Vinny and I have talked this about, especially on the toy streams, where these people don't have any imagination anymore. So some of the stuff that they're creating now becomes very limited, and you see it in a lot of other works, whether it's comic books, whether it's movies, whether it's TV shows, and it extends into novels and other areas like that. It extends even into newspaper articles where these people are so limited in their imagination, they can't figure out a way to tell a good story anymore. They can't figure out a way to come up with a new product that's a little bit different than everybody else is doing, and they just find ways of rehashing the same products that are already out there. And I blame a lot of technology on that, where a lot of these younger generations, they grew up with all this technology. They never had to really think about stuff and try to create stuff in their head. And it was all just, I want to do something like I seen on this video game, or, it's all right there for them. And they don't have the imagination to be able to create something new.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you've heard this, and this pisses me off to no end, because I think it is such a ridiculous statement where people say, well, everything has already been done, or it's already been written. It's just redoing it in your own way. These stories are old stories. And I say BS. I say, with that, you've already limited human imagination. There's a lack of creativity, true creativity. And with my stories, I deliberately have avoided reading certain things. I've avoided certain television, other things. Everyone says you got to read Brandon Sanderson, you got to watch Game of Thrones, you got to, at least the new stuff. Or at the one time it was the old stuff before it went off the deep end. All these different things. And I deliberately avoided them, because when I do something, I want to make sure that I know it came from my mind and not from somebody else's. And you'll find with the Evolution series, this is unique in almost every single aspect of it. You're not going to find anything that it's similar to. And my writing style is an old style. Just to give you an idea, I do not like the Oxford comma. I write traditionally as if I was writing back in the 40s and 50s, although I do use some current word definitions. So some people may have to stretch a little bit, because I don't write simple. I don't want it to be simple, but I do want to express as many things as I can in as short amount of time as possible, without going into the folly of Stephen King, where you describe a doorknob and how many dents are on the back side of it. It's filler. Your mind is supposed to be the filler, not the words on the page. So when I write something, it is, here's the picture, let your mind fill in the rest of the details. And the way you described what you got of it is exactly how it is. Because there's a place in one of my books, it's called Peg's Beta. And I imagine your image of it is far superior to what I wrote. And I get this from everybody. Basically, think of an ancient planet. We do not know the civilization that was held it together, but for some reason they thought it was important. It's a breakaway solar system with a red star. This planet broke in half, but some civilization in the past decided to put devices in it to hold it together. In the process, all the water of that world made a waterfall, basically, that spins in between the two halves of the world. And I give a little bit of color, a little bit of diagram, but the rest of that, everything you're seeing in your mind is what I wanted to put into your mind without using the words.
See, when I imagine this split apart world with the water pouring off one side, I imagine as the water comes down, it turns back into vapor and it goes back into the atmosphere and comes back around again.
And there you go. See, the world is there and it's now for you. And that's, that's all that needs to be done. I don't need to say whether there's plant life in it or whether there's animal life in it. I don't need to say whether there's life at all around it. The world is now yours. I painted the picture. You put in the details.
And right there, that goes back into the imagination aspect of it and people being able to fill in some of the blanks themselves, like you're saying. And when you don't have that, I think it absolutely does kind of cheapen it a little bit, because everybody should have a unique experience when they read a book, because you're seeing it in your own way. And I think that's one of the things we've lost with some of these writers, like especially when you talk about Stephen King. Like, don't even get started about that guy on freaking Twitter.
Time Prophet likes it. Oh, but yeah, no, we're not talking about X. No.
Oh no, is he
I think he's hit the ceiling too many times with his forehead.
Vinny is never late. Train is already starting. And Vinny was 100%. It's all the same thing now. Every story, every design.
Not quite Lurch, not an interdimensional portal. They built a breakaway civilization and slowly developed technologies, but they didn't want to leave humanity behind. So they would take some of the things that they learned, whether they stole it from other civilizations, which is their main goal, is to destroy everything and make humans superior, or it's stuff that they created on their own. But no, they didn't do any of the interdimensional stuff.
Yeah, I hear you, Time Prophet. I don't think many of us do.
Well, see, that's the thing. I am one of the ones who thinks libraries are not big enough, because some people like Stephen King. Other people like any number of different authors. And that's what's wonderful, is that I can write away and people will like it. People like other things, and great for them. I may not like it. You're never going to please everybody, but that's the nice thing. Some people like oranges, some people like apples, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
No, it definitely is. I mean, I've told people that about myself as well, because, I have some takes that may ruffle feathers. Sometimes I might be your cup of tea. Sometimes I might not be. Maybe one day I might be exactly what you want to hear. And the next day, like, I'm really sick of hearing that pig talk. He's getting on my goddamn nerves. And that's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to make everybody happy all the time. I'm not here to do that. Yeah, right. Yeah, agreeing, liking and agreeing with. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 200% wrong. I right on time. Yeah, right on time. As long as that time is late.
And pretty much. Yeah.
It's
with my works, it is a window into something that you've never experienced before, and that's the Reach. When it comes out, it is a completely unique experience. There isn't anything else like that. And when I wrote it, I did it with, and people have and then the only reason why I keep bringing this up is because it was a lot of work. Out of all the books I did, it was the hardest one, but it was probably one of the most enjoyable ones, and it's the ones where I've gotten the most accolades of the people that have gotten through it. I shouldn't say gotten through it. It makes it sound like a chore because most people read it really fast because they enjoy it. You know, in your own mind, what is easiest, or in heart, or what have you, what is easiest for you to learn something. Some people you went to school with and they could book read. Other people would sit there and listen to the lecture. Other people would have to be hands-on. Everyone learns something different. Well, with the reach in that one specifically, within every chapter, within every paragraph, and sometimes within every sentence, I hit on the three main ways that people learned when I was describing something, whether it be emotional or visual or auditory. Those are the ways that people learn through those. If I was to talk about something that you heard at the beach, I just said three words about talk, hear, those are the things that people who learn through hearing are going to key into. They'll pay attention to that. Where if I was to describe how you see a star with its various different colors and how it twinkled, I used imagery that expresses things of visual, and the people who are visual will understand that. Or if I was to talk about a sad dog that had its poor owner that was depressed, get killed, then there's all emotional things. And someone who is an emotional learner will pick up on that. And specifically in the reach, I made it a point to make sure all of those were included as frequently as I could. And it worked. And for those of you who are curious, you're going to find out soon enough. But like I said, it's the library of the mind needs to be fed, otherwise stagnation, frustration, division. We see it all over. There's a reason why our world is so divisive now, and it's partly by design. Partly some of it has to do with our sun going wacko and our magnetic field being screwed up, and we're being bombarded with bozo rays, which is proven to affect people's minds and physicality. It's just a perfect storm of idiots around the world and bozo rays coming from the universe that are driving us into a lack of civility and humanity, lack of creativity. I have these to give you a break from all of that, to give you worlds and experiences that will help you understand yourself and the world better, as well as take you on a ride that will entertain you. I have no doubt about it. That's just how my books are. And when you have the time to read, then do it. And it's not necessarily because I don't. The only time I've used any of the money for my books, because it sits and it's for my kids when I'm gone. One of my kids had a big issue with his car, so I pulled some out and took care of it for his car. I don't make anything off of this. It's not financially for me whatsoever. It's to bring joy to other people. That's what makes me happy. That's why I was a doc. That's why I was a musician. It was about me putting out effort to make other people happy. That's what these are for.
There is a certain element to making people happy because, we've talked. I used to play, and seeing people in the crowd enjoying what you're doing is tremendous. But for me, it always started with, do I enjoy what I'm playing first? Obviously. And it's the same thing. It's the same mentality I brought to YouTube and all the other platforms that I'm putting my content on. I have to enjoy what I'm doing first. And then once I enjoy it, at least as well as I can get, because I'm sure you agree with this, you're almost never completely happy with whatever you do. And that's one of the things that actually keeps you creatively driven, is to not be completely happy with what you're doing, because then you get stagnant and you don't really get as creative when you say, oh yeah, this is perfect just the way it is. No, like everything I do, I'm never 100% satisfied with it.
That's good, because that means you keep growing. And that was something with music. And I'm sure you were talented enough to understand this because I was a professional years ago. I when I was learning early on, I noticed something that some music was just notes and other music, and it doesn't matter the style, but other music actually had emotion come through it, which some people still don't recognize. You just don't have the ear for it, and that's okay. But you can hear the feelings of the musician. And for the people with an ear, they can actually tell. It's what really will set people to move. And I worked hard at that. And eventually I got to the point where my horn in my hand was a window to my soul. When people heard it, they knew my emotions. And being a doc wasn't so profound, but it was able to help people get better. But doing this with writing, I think, is more similar to music than doing a doc and doing things for other people, where it is a window to how I feel and to my soul. And hopefully it comes out clear enough and profound enough and entertaining enough to where I could take you guys out of your little troubles and big troubles, the stresses and the issues of the world, and give you a place to hide. Some people do it in alcohol, some people do it in video games, some people do it in family groups, different things. It's just one other vehicle to where your load can be lightened and you can visit a place where you can take a deep breath and relax for a little while. But that's why I write.
It's an awesome thing too. Awesome thing to be able to do. And like what you're talking about with music, I know for myself, everything that I ever wrote with the few different bands that I was in, minus the one cover band, which I didn't stay there very long because they weren't about innovation and being able to be your own player. I hate those people. Like you're saying, some things are just notes. That's what they were with these people. Like things had to be just as they are on the recording. It has to be note by note, nothing different, nothing inspiring, nothing coming from you. And I can't stand that kind of freaking playing. It drives me absolutely batshit crazy. Like everything I played on stage was something that it felt real for me. The few times that I did songs with the guys that I worked with, my guitar player and the drummer and everything, there was a few songs I didn't necessarily like because it was the guitar player wanted to do the song and it wasn't the type of song I like to do. Most of my songs that I would do were either they were kind of I guess almost you would almost say melancholy in a way, and the rest of them were real angry songs. Imagine that, me writing angry. And I will quote Ice-T on this. When I tried to write happy, I knew I lied. So,
well, there were quite a few things that I played that weren't my cup of tea. The jazz, when I was playing the horn, there's such a wide variety of different types of jazz, and some of it I liked and some of it I didn't. But never did I deny anyone the opportunity to hear an emotion come through the horn. That's what I enjoyed. I didn't care what tune it was. So no, I'm glad you experienced that, because I think it's something that unless you're a musician, it's very, very difficult to experience, that you're not using words and you're not using eyes. You're using sound that isn't words, that it opens up your chest and people can see, feel, and hear your soul. I think music is quite unique in that way. And since it has to deal with mathematics, it gets the higher brain. Since there is a feel to it, it gets the emotional and, of course, the hearing of it. So I always appreciate musicians in whatever form. I got a question for you, because I've been debating this in my mind, and you're quite keen on this, and I want to do a little bit of debate because I'm going to sidetrack this a little bit. and I've been working over this over and over again. Not your favorite, but the most compelling musically. What would you say is the, and it may point to a limitation of my experience, but what would you say is the best hard rock song or rock song?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones out there, but I'm probably going to lead back into early Metallica stuff with Cliff Burton. There was something about the way that guy played, the way he was able to fuse hard rock and almost classical style music in the way he played that really just captivated me. Between him and the bass player from Bob Marley and the Wailers, believe it or not, because I like that freaking old reggae stuff too. Because I'm almost dyslexic in the way I like music. It's all over the damn place. So
well, I'm looking at the chat, and no one has agreed on anything, which I think is awesome.
That's good. We shouldn't all agree on. We should all have our own things that we escape to and be able to enjoy. But God,
now here's mine while you're thinking of that. I think, and it's not my favorite rock band, so don't get me wrong, but The Pot by Tool, because for that, there's so many different voices. They're all done very well. And it isn't the 4/4 lyrics, bridge, interlude, lyrics, bridge pattern. It has a bridge, 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 or it could be chorus, 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 bridge, chorus, chorus, which is different choruses. And it's more complex. And sometimes they even go 4/4 3/4, where most bands won't do that. They'll change within the song. Maybe it's I can't remember which one it is. 46 and 2, where it's 3/4 3/4 4/4 3/4 3/4 4/4. But the complexity of The Pot, I think, puts it in a class of its own. And like I said, everyone has their own favorites, but for me, I think I have to analyze. I'm quite impressed with that one.
I thought about the song that was probably one of my favorites, and it doesn't really have it. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't have any lyrics. Orion. It was something about the way it was written, and probably the second one after that was something that Cliff Burton was working on before he passed away in that tragic bus accident. Was "To Live Is to Die." Both of them are instrumentals. Both of them have a little bit of that classic feel mixed in with the rock sound that I thought was truly unique, and really it did establish, I think, Cliff as his own unique style of player. And I that Jason Newsted didn't get enough respect for what he did on that freaking album. He damn sure didn't get enough respect from the other guys in Metallica, but I think he took what was written by Cliff Burton and really did it justice, especially on "To Live Is to Die." Really an amazing send-off for that guy. But I would say Orion would be number one. A song without freaking lyrics.
Well, there you go.
Wasp. Oh, I gotta vehemently disagree with that. And if you would have said Striper, I would have had to throw you out of my chat. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he was amazing. It is almost hauntingly beautiful. Haven't heard that in years. Love that one. Love that one a lot. I love Wasp. Hey, to each their own. To each their own. I mean, oh no, Winger, no.
Oh, and I've near killed a few people who would say that Kenny G was a good saxophonist. I mean,
what about that guy they had in Lost? The guy they had in Lost Boys.
I don't know that.
There was that one saxophone player from Lost Boys.
Don't know.
He's playing on the beach.
No, I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might have played with Tina Turner, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if Tina Turner had him, then he's probably pretty good. But for the most part, there's only a few pop or rock bands where the saxophonist was actually good. They were just average. I know that the guy that worked for Sting was really good. I was going to say Prince, but his were more for show. Prince was the show, not the band. But yeah, the guy for Sting I know was really good. But most of them are just average. And a lot of rehearsal carried them, various different sounds in the background, some other things. You know what? I don't know enough of Bruce Springsteen to know. What I did hear, I thought he was just overblown average. But that's just what I heard. I don't follow. Bruce Springsteen is not my cup of tea, so I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah, so that's the sax player Tim Capello.
If you guys want to know what I sounded like once upon a time, look up Dave Cause. Specifically, the closest anyone has ever gotten to my sound, because I played before he came out with this, was Together Again. Look up Dave Cause, Together Again. You hear that, you're going to hear pretty much the way I sounded, except mine was a little more smoky to it. I think the difference being, one, when I played, it was a little lower sound, not meaning the tone sound, but I brought from lower in my stomach instead of higher up in the chest. And my mouthpiece is obviously different than his. Mine was designed specifically to make a certain type of sound. But he's pretty close to the way I did. And you can hear emotions come through him too when he plays. So yeah, every once in a while I'll pick that up and listen to go, yeah, I used to play like that.
Yeah, Soul Assassin has a question for you. Rock question, Adega. Who'd win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Oh, God always wins.
Wrong. Lemmy is God.
Sorry.
Airheads movie.
I never saw that.
I've seen that. Oh God, I've seen that one quite recently too. Yeah, see Papa New Airheads.
I did. No, you got me on that one. Right over my head.
Yeah, see, Soul. I know. Yeah, I know. Oh Jesus, you never seen that movie or?
No, never saw it.
You should watch it. You'd laugh.
You know
it's got Sandler in it.
I like movies, but more often than not, I like being out of the house and doing things. It just wasn't my thing. When I was in the dating scene, I don't think I ever took one date to a movie. Maybe my wife. It just wasn't. There's always other things to do. The closest I came to it is I took her to the Laserium in California, where they'd have music and you'd sit back and they'd do a laser light show. That was at Griffith Observatory. It was pretty cool.
Everybody's talking about that now. So we got him started on two things. You asked me about my favorite song, and now I was like, oh, I haven't heard that in forever, and now we're talking about Airheads.
I got some homework to do then. I need to go back and check a few things.
It's dumb fun, and that's one of the things I do enjoy with some of these movies. I enjoy dumb fun movies sometimes because, you need that unwinding. It's like reading a good novel. You
wouldn't have known by all the little segment introductions that you have movie clips from. Never would have guessed.
Nah, not me. Trivia guy, stuff like that. Movies, nope, not me. It's rare. It's very rare that I get stumped by one of those things, but it can happen. I don't remember all of it. Carry drums correctly first. Yeah. With the band I was in, we didn't have tons of money. We were playing out all the time, but yeah, we had to carry our own instruments, and yeah, I had to wind up helping the freaking drummer carry his shit. Drummers are all crazy. That's my experience playing music.
Well, it kind of goes with the territory. I don't know. Most basses, can't say all of them, but most bassists are pretty mellow. They're the ones that fly under the radar, but there are a few that just are really out there. I'm trying to think. Jimmy was a race car driver. I know the band.
The guy from Primus is pretty nuts.
Primus, yes. He even made his own guitar or his own bass because he was trying to make things more complicated than he can get out of the regular standard bass, which I think is brilliant. If there's limitations, break past them, and he did.
That Flea was a little bit nuts. Oh God, there's another bass player I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. He was a little bit out there too.
Well, if you're going to be the engine of a music, I think you have to have an edge and not just sit back and hold rhythm. I think that's a waste. Any bassist who just sits there and holds rhythm without putting some real song into it, then it's a wasted position. Any band, they should replace that bass and put someone in there that's got some drive to them, not just rhythm. The engine has to purr. You want to hear a Ferrari and not a Ford Pinto, and the drums and the basses do that.
Well, that's the thing. Like everybody in the band should be able to stand out in their own right too.
Right. Right.
And if they're not really putting everything in it. Like you're going back to like you're putting a piece of you into your music.
Right. Right.
And if you're not, it's going to actually show in the end. So that's why you hear some of these bands how muted the bass is in a lot of songs. And like my wife is terrible; she can't pick out a bass in a freaking song to save her life. I can pick out the bass in every damn song. I mean, not just because I'm a bass player; it's just because the way my hearing is, because I'm like partially deaf in my left ear. I don't know why I pick up certain tonal sounds a lot easier, and bass is one of those tones that I can pick up really easy.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just hope that whatever bass you're listening to, the person sings it and doesn't just sit there and hold rhythm. You can do that with a snare drum.
Yeah, so. You have to be a bit to write good poetry, right? Ugh, spandex. Ugh. God, I don't miss that about the 80s. Like everybody says about everything in the 80s was great. No, it wasn't.
Everything in the 80s was great? Who says that?
I've heard people say it. That there was quite a few things about the 80s that was not great. And those spandex pants was one of them.
Right.
Yeah, the saddest thing about them guys is they could actually sing too.
Right. Yeah, but they were the record label said, no, we're going to do it this way, and you're going to lip sync. And back then, with so much talent abounding, it was frowned upon.
Deaf in my right eye. He's deaf in his right nostril.
It's better that than being deaf in your anus. Then we know your head's up somewhere.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know what that person was doing wrong, what poor choices they made in their life, but they need to stay away from me.
No, there was a lot of good stuff about the 80s. Everyone claims the people who don't know because they're too young think the 90s were the best, but they just didn't experience the 80s was something different. It was something really cool about the 80s. I think a lot of it has to do that we didn't have the computers yet.
Well, we were just starting to get them.
Yeah, no, we had one, but it filled up our kitchen table, and you had to put in a floppy drive every time you wanted to do something. So it was functional for a database. It wasn't a way of plugging your kids in and making them miss out their whole childhood because they've been watching videos on someone's phone all life. It used to bother the heck out of me when I was working and when families would come in and there'd be like 2 or 3 that are plugged into the phone, and that was my rule. The phone's got to go away. Doc's here's family here. We're all going to talk. We're going to learn about how your health gets better. We're not going to sit there and watch stupid videos. And I didn't care how unruly the kid was. I had rules, and they learned to live by them. And there's something missing when people can't go out and enjoy the air and the grass and everything else as much as they do is being plugged into TV. That's part of the reason why movies have died. They got so much of it in front of their faces all the time that the thrill of that experience has been diminished so much.
I think
go read a book. Read one of my books.
Bring back the old computers. That's a sure way to get people out there and start doing things in the real world again. Bring back like that freaking old computer I found out in the garage that I brought back to my father's house. That, what was that, 1000X or something? Tandy.
Yeah.
Well, I think bring those back. Something that takes about 15 minutes to start up. The kids will get so impatient they'll have to go outside.
I think phones too should be limited to, you have your phone, you have a calculator, you have a map. And just your contact lists, but to have games on it, have YouTube and all those other things. I think it's too distracting, even for adults who are supposed to know better. They're on the road and you hear them, and I'll be watching these chats. Oh yeah, I'm going on my way to work. I'm just listening. It's like, well, fine, you're listening, but there's too much. It's too much of a distraction from reality.
I think a lot of people, it's almost like an addiction with some of it.
Of course it is.
Yeah, they can't put it down. I mean, you see that with some of the people that are usually in certain chats all the time. I don't know if they necessarily enjoy every single show that they watch, but some people can become so addicted to it that they can't turn away. And you should never feel like you get to that point in your life.
Right.
I mean, like when that becomes, this is the be all end all, like doing that constantly. Nope. I learned my lesson with that like a while ago when I was doing all the modding. Like it was just like, I felt like I had to be there for every single show. And it's just like, I got to that point, I realized, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? This is back when I was still talking with K-Log, when he was still hanging out with Snowdub before, he did some really idiotic shit and he kind of disappeared off the internet. And they were both telling me, dude, you should probably step away from all that modding and stop being on all these channels and, maybe focus on things you want to do.
No, when I started modding for PJ, that was the thing, is going, I got to be like Tommy, and I set up all these, I had a notepad where it had all the different links for everything, and I'd sit there and copy and paste back and forth, boom, 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 trying to keep up with how quick you were. I could never be Tommy. I tried.
It became mind numbing to a degree though. I mean, doing that stuff all the damn time, and I could still do it right now if I wanted to. It's just, I just chose to stop doing it because it almost does become addicting, even doing that like constantly all the time. You got to be able to take a break and step away from it.
Yeah.
I'm only like Tommy on Tommy's Lives. I appreciate it, Curtis. You keep me from driving myself crazy by doing that stuff again. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. You're damn right it is. So many eras and genres of music. I love so many of them. Yeah, you should. You should never limit yourself, because once you limit yourself, you've actually done yourself a disservice.
No, and that's the thing. If it has a story to tell, if there is an emotion to be gained from it, it doesn't matter where it comes from, because I'll listen to Bach, I listen to Mozart, I listen to funk. There's a lot of emotion in funk. I like listening to that. And then the hard rock, there's a lot of the 80s new romantic stuff. Just whatever's good, it's good.
Yeah, never limit yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just remember, Alex DeLarge, very violent man, loved classical music. Tommy is great. I don't know about great. I'm a bastard. I just try to have fun with it as much as possible. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Funk
Daft
rocks.
Punk is good too. Yeah.
I know Papa has been
He's been pushing that
absolutely,
hard.
yeah, Lamb of God all the time. Hey man, I just try to be me. And you guys that appreciate me for being me, I appreciate that. I mean, seriously, it's not easy sometimes being yourself in a sea of freaking people that want to be fraudulent. And there are a lot of them. There's a lot of people that put on the show. You're not getting that with Doc. You're not getting that with the people that I hang out with. I try to keep the people that want to put on the freaking airs and put on the fake routines. I try to keep them way on the outside because I just don't need that kind of nonsense in my lane because I will just run them over like a monster truck. I have no time for it.
That's why at wedding receptions, I keep my face in the food. Because you know there's stories going around at a wedding reception. All the lies and the weird things come out at that point.
Oh God, I could tell you a story after the stream about a wedding reception. Well, it was.
Oh, I know
after-
you've got them. I know you have to.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, Papa. Clown control freaks. So, Doc, anything else that you want to tell the good people out there?
I don't know. If anyone has a question real quick, that's fine. But no, my stuff, it's just a matter of time, I think, and the right people. If the right events, the right people who talk about it, I know my stuff is top notch. I used to have that. There's a condition, and it's a good one to have. And I try and I've tried to be humble about it, but I got over it. Is the imposter syndrome, because I know I was a great musician. I know it. I was a great dog. There are better dogs. There are better musicians. Not many better saxophonists than me, but there were. But writing is something that was different. And it took me a while to realize, you know what, I got something special. I had enough people to tell me that, enough people to read it, enough people that actually enjoyed it to say, yeah. So when you want a good experience, it's there for you. I'm not going to force you to do it. But in a matter of time, I think if the right people, the ones who have a community that will hear them, I'm talking about, there's a lot of book bloggers and various different things. Stig had mentioned Goodreads, if it gets in the right hands of the right people, and I'm not really promoting anything, they'll know and it'll take off. And again, it's not financially for me, it's financially for my kids, because there's money sitting in the bank and I don't touch it. It's there for them.
Curtis, once again, digging up some more links and posting things right there. I appreciate.
Yeah,
that,
I don't know
Curtis.
if you found the Amazon one or not Amazon, Barnes and Noble one. That's where the high quality comes from. Barnes and Noble. Amazon, you get the books. You can have them in your hand.
I forget what I put in the description. I'm pretty sure I put the Barnes and Noble one, at least one of them. But I thought I did, but if I didn't, I'll have to correct that later.
But Amazon is Amazon. You yourself showed me when you get a book from them, the care isn't there. You're going to have a hardcover, which may be warped because of humidity damage or not being packed properly. When you get it from Barnes and Noble, you get a good book, and you're going to be happy with it on your shelf for a very long time. Because
just remember, people, if you're going to get these things, make sure you get them all the same size. Get them from the same place. Don't be like me. Chaos. I have another Cage Talks in 2 weeks, so if you decide you want to come on, then just let me know. Whether you leave a comment on the video or however you could reach out. My email, I believe, is on my YouTube page. You could always reach out to me through my email and let me know. Whatever's easier. I would say Discord, but I stopped using Discord because it got on my damn nerves. So. Whoa, Papa played tenor saxophone. Nice.
I played alto, soprano, and then there was one jazz band where I played bass sax. That was difficult. I got a lot of compliments, and I didn't like doing it. It's kind of like Trina, where she said she didn't like playing the trombone. But the band needed a rhythm, and they needed the voice down there. And I was able to do it. and it's a lot of work because I don't know if you've ever seen a bass sax, but when I stand up, it was as tall as I was. As before I started shrinking with my spine not being the way it should. It wasn't as tall as I was, I could play it, but it was pretty dang tall, and really unique sound, and really pushed my lung capacity. So I know how she feels, but I stuck with the alto and soprano. Actually, you know what? That's funny that you say that. Any wind or brass instrument, if they really want to hear how good they sound, you go out on the beach and you play there. You have no walls, echoes, or anything. You just have the raw, open sound, and you can hear how bad you really suck. And it helps you work on things. Sax on the beach. Actually, yeah, I did.
There you go, Curtis. Curtis found it.
There you go.
Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate that.
You're awesome.
I really have to update my freaking list of stuff. It's just, when do I ever have time? Usually when I get done with the live streams is either sometimes whether I'm getting ready to go on somebody else's live stream or I'm still trying to prepare shit for the next toy stream because the internet's getting wonky again. These
Yay!
people. They said they fixed it last week, and then all of a sudden I tried to upload a few things for Thursday toy stream, and then it started connection is unstable. And I was like, yeah, where have I seen this message before? Here we go again. Yeah, appreciate it, Trina. Appreciate it. Just having some fun, having a legit talk, and for you guys that wanted to get a little bit more in depth on Doc, I hope that we hit that for you. I hope that it maybe made you interested to be able to check out his books. Don't be shy about this. Get out there and purchase those things and have a good read. It's going to take you out of the nonsense that we're seeing everywhere right now with all the mainstream media entertainment companies. Go independent, because that's the place where you're going to find some good stories again, where all the creativity still exists, where it doesn't exist in these big corporations, these big soulless freaking churning machines that just spit out garbage after garbage.
Yeah, and the true artists are supervised and handcuffed and manipulated to where it's no longer an art form; it's just product, and people know the difference.
I think that's April 9th. I don't have a calendar right in front of me, but I think so. Yeah, like Chaos, definitely reach out to me. Whether you leave a message on my video or, like I said, I'm pretty sure my email is attached to my damn YouTube page. You could reach out that way, and we could set it up for sure. Because I don't think you're on Twitter, right? I mean, freaking Twitter, they drive me nuts. They take one more of my accounts, I'm probably going to lose my mind. But guys, thank you for hanging out with us. I hope that you got to know Doc a little bit better, and I really do hope that you check out his books.
Yeah, let's do this again after you read The Blood Witch, because that's going to blow your mind.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. I mean, and I was really thinking about getting the Amazon one, and then you sold me that the Barnes and Noble one was going to be better, and I was like, I gotta wait because this came up, then that came up, and then friggin' pigs had to go to vets, like everything else. It's just the way it is. But what can you do, guys? Be sure to check out the links that my man Curtis has been dropping all night in the chat. Be sure to check all those out. Be sure to check out the links from all the other content creators that we have in there in the chat that have been dropping their stuff as well. You can't see Papa as much as you'd want to on YouTube, but be sure to check out Papa on Twitter, because that's where he's going to be posting some stuff, because Papa's a little bit sick of the nonsense with YouTube, and I can't say that I blame him. But thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Doc, thank you for coming on and being a most excellent guest.
Oh, thanks. And just a note about Papa. He would be the neighbor that you really don't want to have next to you until something really goes bad. And then you'll be glad he's your neighbor.
I don't know. I would be absolutely fine with him next to me. I'm sure that I would probably get on his nerves at some point.
Yeah, because he'd be yelling at my dogs all the time. Like, why don't you get your stupid dog shot? I'm trying, Papa, but it just won't behave.
Hey, what's up, Tim? We're just getting ready to bounce up out of here, man.
Hey, Tim.
But thank you guys for being here. Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not think, because your silence and your compliance gives consent. And we'll catch you next time.
See you.
Y'all.
Forget the bitch, you should spend. Assimilated, but you don't know it yet. Attacking us is not very wise. Our army's growing if we see through your lies.
What we are looking at, good and evil, right and wrong. It's a big world order. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order. Somebody's going to wind up getting their toes nibbled off in here. A big world order. 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 Better hide your toes as we're coming for them. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order.